There we go. Hey, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Green White Black Maverick. This is pretty much the same list we streamed yesterday with a small change. I wanted to play a second Sylvan Library, so I've got a Thalia. So Thalia I think is a fine cut for Once Upon a Time. So I guess to go back to the start, we're playing 4 once, which allows us to make some cuts within the deck. Usually for most players that are playing the 4 Once Upon a Time, you can safely cut a Green Sun Zenith, a Thalia, a Noble Hierarch, and a land. Because once is of course acting like Green Sun Zenith, and it's also most likely finding you one of these in your early turns, so it kind of acts as Thalia number 4, Noble number 4, and also the land that you need in your opening hand. So I was just playing the 1 Sylvan Library, which was fine, but I do want to see it more, so I think running 2 is where I've always liked to see for the cards that I run in the deck that I can't find with Green Suns. I do like having more than 1 copy, so 2 Sylvan Library, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Plague Engineer, 2 Gaea, just to make sure that I am seeing them in the games that I want to see them, because if I only have 1 in the deck, I'm probably not going to see it too often, and obviously not as often as I like. Same thing for the sideboard. I think Achilles built this really well, so 2 Chalice, 2 Deafening Silence, 2 Choke, 3 Path, 1 Vraska. I guess Vraska isn't really a card you want to see in your opening hand. You probably want to draw it mid to late game. But again, a lot of these cards are double ups because you want to see them more often. It's a pretty basic concept, but I think it's something that you can't really skimp on in Maverick, where you don't have Brainstorms, Ponders, Preordains to actually find those cards for you. You do have to naturally draw into them. So having a sideboard of 15 different cards is probably not going to work. But having a sideboard that's pretty neat and allows you to have a few double ups of cards is really nice. So I'm a big fan of this. Sylvan Library as well, I think just really well positioned right now. It's a little bit difficult for some of the decks to deal with, especially game 1. So it can't be O-Code. Rug Delver has a pretty tough time dealing with it off the stack. Maybe they have like a Brazen Borrower in the main deck, but that's probably it. Post board, you're looking at like Return to Nature. Snowco decks also can't really deal with it. They can bounce it with Teferi or Abrupt Decay it, which does sound like a fair amount of ways to deal with it, but they do have to find those cards. And of course, if they're taking down on your Sylvan Library and putting it to Teferi to 1, you're most likely going to be able to kill it in the swingback, which is nice. And if they're decaying the library, it is pretty big, but at least library isn't part of our main plan. That's 1 less decay going after one of our creatures, which is great. So library, I think, really nice. Also, a lot of the decks right now are a little bit slow, so you do have the opportunity just to draw 8 straight away, or pay 8, draw 3, which I really like. It's also quite nice against the Turbo Depths variants, which are popping up, because if your life's at 20, or if your life's at 12, or your life's at 4, it doesn't really matter. There are slim cases where you might just want to get above 20, so you can have sort of an extra turn and take a hit from a Marit Lage, and then maybe set up a board that can win the game. But most of the time, it's pretty tough to do that. So I think Sylvan Library is pretty well positioned. No real other changes. The deck's pretty nice. I do like the mana base. We're not playing anything like Blast Zone, Bojuka Bog, Dark Depths combo. It's all pretty nicely set out. We do have Horizon Canopy we can find. We do have Karakas and Gaea's Cradle. They're probably the 3 that I would put in every single deck. There was a time where Cradle wasn't the greatest, and I think Ancient Tomb was played a lot, which is fine. I think that Cradle is pretty weak against some of the decks that play things like Supreme Verdict or Dead of Winter, and a lot of the decks that just trade for your creatures 1 for 1, it's also not that great. So there are a few matchups like Snowco where I actually take Cradle out because you get punished for going wide, and Cradle of course is what gives you the benefit of going wide. So there are times where, yeah, there's matchups where Cradle just doesn't really do anything, unfortunately, but at least there it's a pretty nice, pretty easy pick to take out, because sideboarding can be a little bit difficult, especially right now with Rug Delver. I'm still not too sure of my plan. I believe last time what we did against Rug Delver was we took out the 2 Engineers. They're fine defensively. It might keep a Dreadhorde Arcanist from attacking. It could keep a Goy from attacking, but most of the time they have the removal, or they just have another creature like a Delver of Secrets. The Kaias are interesting. They do deal with Delver, and they slow down a Goyf or a Dreadhorde or a Hooting Mandrills, but just not really where we want to be. And I think Ouphe was the other cut. I could also see a Thalia being taken out, but the big ones that I want to bring in are these. So Paths and Chokes. Paths because it's only upside. They don't usually run basics. I've seen a rug list recently that came out of Japan that Rich Cowley actually took James Hugh through a league with that was running a snow-covered island, which would be pretty rough, but I think otherwise Path is really nice. It's also great to have extra removal for Hooting Mandrills because sometimes Abrupt Decay just gets stuck in your hand if you're using Swords to Plowshares on the early Delvers, Dreadhordes, and Tarmogoyfs, which can be a little bit rough. There is talk about if Assassin's Trophy is worth it, but I think also with a pretty, at least I've seen a pretty big uptick in Spell Snare, that Decay is just worth it because it's uncountable. So that's the big draw to the card, which is pretty cool. That's about it. Let's see how this goes for a league. We went 4-1 yesterday. No spoilers. You can find the video up on my YouTube channel, which you can see in comments. Yeah, let's do this. Hope you guys are well. Legacy League, play points, nice. That's good coffee. Oh, actually, 1 second. 2 seconds, guys. Nice. We're back. Cool. All right. Wow, Tom at top. Nice. Nick 8077 to Thomas Hep. Depths player. Very good depths player. If you want to find Tom's guide to depths, you can find some content on the Min-Max blog, which is very cool. I believe he did a few matchups and then also just a bit of a guide on the deck. Pokemonkey. Achilles, nice. So Achilles 27 is a pretty well-known Green White Maverick player, but he came up with this list for Green White Black, which is really cool. Big fan. And whammy. Oh, there's a... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Uh-huh. Okay. That's interesting. So we're playing a league with a main deck of 55 cards. Of course, I pulled in those Paths and Chokes. Okay. Alright, we'll see how this goes. This is going to be interesting. I should have checked that. Yeah, that's an oopsie, 100%. But, yeah, that's a big oopsie. City of Traders. Grim. Okay. Pass. Okay, well, I'm definitely not letting my opponent untap with 5 mana available. Even though it's kind of tough to Wasteland City Traders, I don't want my opponent getting that extra 2 mana. Oh, back to us. Okay. Nice. So it looks like it's only the Grim that they have. And no other land drop? That's a rough keep. Okay. That's probably pretty good. I think here I want the Sylvan Library down more than anything else. Because this deck doesn't have a great clock here, I want to just make sure I can get Sylvan Library on board. And just start drawing 8. Or drawing 4. Yeah, we'll have to see how this goes, because having those extra cards in the deck isn't the greatest. Didgeridoo? Okay. Interesting. What's the Minotaur? Wow, okay. Okay, we... Interesting. Wow, and they have Flying and Haste? Okay. Is this just game? Oh, and another? Okay. Okay. That's rough. Yeah, Wolf, we accidentally... I was showing some sideboarding stuff before the game, and then I went straight into the game, and I didn't realize we had put the 4 parts, or the 3 parts and 2 chokes in the main deck, and only have a 10-card sideboard. But that's fine. That is fine. Let's go with Thalia out. Collector Ouphe seems pretty good here. Plague Engineer seems fine if they're playing Slivers. Chokes can definitely come out. Gadog is interesting, but I don't think it's where I want to be, especially if they were just playing creatures. This seems fine. Everything kind of has its place. Swords and Paths seem fine. Wasteland's of course good. Knight. Ouphe. Knight. Yeah. Vrask is interesting, but I think Decays can be fine. Yeah, I think if we lose this one, we'll definitely just play a... I think we'll reset the league. So I don't want to play with a 65 card deck. Main deck choke is just a little bit too aggressive. But at least here we have turn 2 Collector Ouphe, which hopefully is good enough. Let's go and get a Savannah and then get Noble Hierarch down. That was rough. I wasn't expecting, yeah, at least a turn 2 clue. Hey, Victor, welcome. Hope you're well. What if we do see a Wasteland? Interesting. Pretty aggressive. Oh, what if we go... No. I think you asked me to play Wasteland, save the Cradle for now, and just play Hex Drinker. This means next turn we can still go for Ouphe. Hey Jerry, welcome. So there is an issue with this deck. Before the game, we were playing around with... Here we go. I'm definitely going to Wasteland this. Play Cradle. 3 mana. We have 2 chokes and 3 Path to Exile in the main deck that should be in the sideboard. Unfortunately, but it's going to be okay. It's going to work out. We might have to reset the league, but we'll see how we go. Playing against like a Slivers deck, but it's a Didgeridoo deck, which is very cool. Temple's going to be fine. I can play Questing Beast here, which is pretty sweet. Another Path. Yeah. There's also Knight, but I don't currently have anything to sack tonight. So I think Beast here is fine. And just start getting aggressive. Pretty nice curve. I mean, even if they have a Thought-Knot Seer, we can just attack with a Questing Beast with Exalted, which is a 5-power creature, which is nice. Okay. I don't want to change anything. Maybe Gaea is a card that I don't really care about. Vraska does seem pretty cool. Yeah, this is fine. Teague's interesting, but it looks like they're more a creature-based deck than like a Khan deck. So so I don't think Teak is worth it. But it's just such a small price to pay, so maybe Teak is actually better than Kaya. I don't see Kaya doing much. Maybe getting rid of like a Chalice on one, but that's about it. And we already have some pretty good things for that. Hey Jerry, thanks for the bits. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. It's pretty nice here in Brisbane. It's been raining all weekend, which is pretty cool. A bit sunny today, but nice to get it back. Huh. I don't mind the double Wasteland start. But the Cradle is pretty irrelevant. So the question is, would I keep this if it was a 6 without Cradle? I think I would, knowing the matchup and how much they rely on their soul lands. Oh, still running where you are, Wolf? Interesting. Maybe it's coming this way. Hand's a little bit risky, and it's a little bit slow, but because we have these two Wastelands that I'm happy just to crack off, especially after our opponent's gone to 6, I think it's okay. Oh, you're in Tampa? Very cool. Okay. Pretty happy to waste here. You could save the Wastelands for Soul Lands, which is probably your better hit, but I don't want my opponent to untap, play like another Cavern, then play Grim Monolith. Just gonna hit this here. Same sort of reasoning. I just don't want my opponent to get to 2 mana. Now they play a city. There's the Grim. Okay. Alright. Sometimes you just draw all of them. This is going to be scary though. I do want to try to draw into a Noble Hierarch, so then I can maybe draw into Green Suns and go get a Collector Ouphe. But yeah, this is looking tough. Oh, they are playing Khan. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of Wastelands. Liquid metal coating. Alright. Yeah, that's actually pretty funny. That'd be cool if they had like an Ancient Den in the sideboard. Oh, they're getting a didgeridoo. Okay. Oh, and they have the land. Alright. Yeah, we'll concede there. I am going to drop from here because of the deck, unfortunately. So what I've done is, when I went through sideboarding at the start, I talked about how we would sideboard for Rug, and I didn't realize that I actually brought these into the main deck to have a 65 card main deck. So I'm going to put these to the sideboard, and then sadly, I'm going to drop from this league. What set is Didgeridoo in? That's an interesting question. Does it come up here? Let me quickly check. It is from... It says Masters Edition. Homelands. It's from Homelands. Very cool. Hey, Yuhei. Welcome. Okay. Let's restart. Alright, so this is the list that we want to play. 60 and 15. Just gotta double check this time. Play points. Nice. Okay. Here we go. Hey, Ouphe, did you play the challenge last night? I saw that Arkham was playing it. It actually starts pretty early. I didn't realize how early it started. It starts at like 9 or 10 p.m. for us, I believe. What Minotaur creature deck is that deck running? Yeah, so it was running the Changelings. So it went the big Changeling into, I think, Sliver Queen. Hey Eli, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah, it went Changeling into Sliver Queen into the one that gives flying and haste to all creatures. And then also I think that cascaded into like Legion Sliver, which is pretty sweet. But sadly we just had nothing. It was pretty rough. But yeah, this should be pretty fun. Went down to the mirror yesterday against Matt Vuk, which is pretty interesting. It was pretty tight games. Tireless Tracker so good in the mirror. Tireless Tracker was really good, and also just getting Ramunap online first before your opponent can build out their mana base. That's pretty tough as well. But pretty sweet games. Had an awesome game against Hallie Newton, which we got up against, which is really nice because Maverick doesn't have the greatest game against Elves. Plague Engineer helps a lot. And Gaea actually did a whole lot of work against Elves as well. But also, that match was pretty cool because I Wastelanded really aggressively to keep them off 4 mana. I knew they only had 2 basics in the deck, and we had a bunch of Wastelands in hand, so I was Wastelanding fetches in their upkeep, making them get their jewels, and then Wastelanding the jewels. Which wouldn't have been great if they did have a 3rd basic, but thankfully, yeah, they just never got to 4 mana, and we were able to keep them off natural order. Which is probably their only out at the time, because we had a pretty good board setup. But yeah, very cool for plays like that to actually work out. Yeah, Vuk's a good player. I thought he was going to be on 4-color Loam, but very cool to see that he's on Maverick. I know that he's been trying a list with Inquisitions in the main deck instead of Mother of Runes, which is pretty cool. I think it definitely helps some of your harder matchups, especially on the play. Haha, hey Sato. Welcome. I'm doing fine, thank you. Nice Sunday morning here. Have a nice weekend of just like doing nothing, so it's nice for a change, and it's also just nice to kind of stream when I want, which is pretty cool. So yeah, the stream yesterday was pretty awesome. Had some good matches. How are you doing in Brazil? Hope you're better than last time. I knew you were doing it pretty rough. Which I guess a lot of people are right now, to be fair. Hey Lucky, since I guess the printing of Snoop and Muxus, have there been any decks that you've found harder to beat? Muxus just seems so fun to play with. I do like as well that it really shows how good the Legacy community is with cards like Moxus and how they're getting traded around different accounts for people to play. Same with Halosaurus Rider. It's like, hey, I want to play the challenge with Anasaurus Rider. Anyone got two Shepherds? And it's like, yeah, a friend of a friend of mine actually picked one up. I'll get him to send it to you on MTGO. Elves? Okay, on the draw. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, Elves is interesting. I guess you do have some interaction. I guess Chain Whirler can be a massive blowout. But you have to use... I guess you only have those 4 munition experts, which is pretty tough. Oh, Pashalik, of course. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Pashalik is very cool. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, working at home is pretty nice. I've been working at home for like, I'm gonna say nearly 3 months now, which is just insane. Yeah, Pyrokinesis is pretty sweet. Does Elves against Goblins usually try to go for an early natural order for like Progenitus in games 2 and 3? Instead of going like wide and then Cradle Hoof? Because I find that's what they do against Maverick, and it's usually pretty tough to play around. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because I haven't played Council's Judgment in a long time. And I don't play any like sack effects either. So Progenitus is next to just death for me, no matter what. Force of Williams, are you going to invite Scryb Ranger to your wedding? Yeah, I think I will. She's a low cost. She would be pretty sweet on the dance floor, I think. So, see how that goes. Okay, on the play against Boosh. Nice. Opening hand. Opening hand is interesting. I would really love an extra spell here, and not just 5 lands with Ramunap, because with Ramunap you don't obviously need 5 lands. You can just maybe work on 3. So this hand would be like turn 1 Zenith for Dryad Arbor, but I don't really need to. I'm doing that because I want to get out the Ramunap early. I think this is an easy mulligan. It just doesn't really have a plan. I can cast everything that I draw into, but I don't have anything like a Source of Plowshares, a Thalia. It's just a little bit too fair, and it just doesn't really do anything, unfortunately. This hand is nearly perfect. I think I'm going to keep it and bottom the Karakas, because that's probably the bottleneck to my mana right now. The birds definitely helps. Hey Ray, a huge thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. That's very cool. Hope you're well. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Alright, so let's keep this. And bottom Karak. Yeah, I think it is bottom Karakas. Hey, Force of Williams as well. Very cool. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. That means a lot. I know you've been buying up a lot of Legacy stuff, so I hope you're doing well over in Perth. I'm going to bottom Karakas. If I really need it, we can find it with Knight, which is cool. Alright, let's go for... I'm going to fetch first instead of playing Bayou, because if I go fetch into draw fetch, I can play Knight as a 4/4, which plays around Bolt. I assume if my opponent is on a Bolt deck, they go after the bird, but it's probably worth that. If they do want to go like Delver into Bolt or something, then I don't mind having the land in the graveyard already. From Toronto, Canada, I play Maverick and Elves. Oof. That's a deck I really like, a deck I don't like, but that's cool. What's Legacy like in Toronto? Just finishing the collection. Yeah, that's fair. I understand that. Here's the Bolt. Oh, it is the Delver. Okay. This is an interesting one. I think the biggest blowout that my opponent can do to me is untap Wasteland and Bolt on bird. Definitely playing the Bayou. I don't mind Thalia. But Thalia could lock us out as well from playing Decay if they do have a Wasteland or removal spell for the bird. I am playing 7-point. I actually have some 7-point coming up on Tuesday again with Pleasant Canopy, which should be pretty fun. So I have a deck to play for that, which I will also play at an event coming up in Toowoomba, which should be sweet, which is a paper event. I rebuilt Blue Moon, which is cool. I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of that deck. I don't really want to play the Knight, to be fair, because I want to play it out of Bolt range. I think that's pretty huge. So I think here I'm actually happy just going with... I'm going to leave up the Savannah, so it might look like I actually have swords in hand. So if they remove the Thalia... I can't cast sword, but I think this is okay. Yeah, it's fair enough. I know a lot of LGSs are doing it pretty tough right now. Brainstorm. Okay. Another Delver. Okay. Well then, Once Upon a Time. So the issue with once here is that it means that I just can't cast this Abrupt Decay, which I definitely have to do. So we can definitely attack. I probably don't mind seeing if my opponent aggressively goes for Brainstorm here. So I'm just going to allow them to untap. I don't think they will. But they are going to fetch, which is interesting, which makes me feel like they are going to force the Brainstorm here. Yeah, which is quite nice. So I'm going to allow this to resolve, because I don't want to give them the information of them only having one Delver left. Hey Nathan, currently in game 1. We started a league, but I accidentally put some sideboard cards in the main deck, so I didn't want to play with a 65 card deck. Okay, so this resolves. Oh, they show Ponder. Okay. I'm just gonna decay 1. Next turn's going to be interesting. Okay, so they can't force this turn, which is pretty huge. So I'm definitely attacking with the Thalia, and then we can think about what we want to do. So I can once to find another land, which means that the following turn I can play Knight as probably a 4/4. If I find a Wasteland as well, that's pretty big. It looks like they're on Grixis, which is interesting. So I don't think Creating Mandrills is a card that I need to worry about. I am at 13. I think I'm okay going for once here. I do want to make sure that I hit another land drop. I probably prioritize that over anything else. Okay. I probably don't mind Wasteland here. Taking them off. Probably black. I guess Bolt on Bird is a little bit rough, but I probably want to hit black because of Gomag, if that's still a card played. It also takes something like Plague Engineer next turn off the table. I guess Volk also takes them off Arcanist. Maybe that's what I want to do, because I only have the one sword right now. But it's interesting. I could be here all day talking about this. There's just, yeah, it's pretty tough when I don't have too much information already. Yeah, still no mums. I don't really miss them, fortunately, but it's yeah, it's an interesting time. It's kind of weird to be playing the deck without mums, to be fair. Okay, what do I want to be doing here? Yeah. So down to one land. I don't mind taking them off. I think Knight here is fine. I can try to use the Knight to bait a Force or a Daze, and then use the swords the following turn. Okay, that's going to resolve. Interesting. Yeah, if I wanted to play the Noble, I definitely should have done it pre-combat to attack for an extra damage with the Thalia. But I think I just wanted to play Knight there because I can hopefully take my opponent off this land and just turn off all counter magic that they have. Because if they have no mana, yeah, nice. Okay, this is pretty perfect. Kind of lucky, to be fair, but now we get to do some pretty cool things. So I'm going to float a white. Sack this. Go and get Wasteland. Waste this. They'll probably float a color. Yeah. I don't want to do anything now, so I'm just going to pass. Go to combat. Attack with Thalia. I probably should have sacked the Bayou and floated Green, and then I could have just cast the Noble Hierarch and then post-combat cast the swords. But this is fine. Thalia here really helping out because it just means they can't force this, which is pretty perfect for us. Wasteland. I mean, they can Wasteland us, that's fair. Karakas. Do I want to do anything pre-combat? I don't believe so. We just want to attack with both of these. And then probably play the Hex Drinker and tick it up once so that we have lethal next turn. Either way, yeah. So even if they have like a Delver for the night, they're in a pretty bad spot, let's be honest, but this does mean that they can't only chump block the night. Because we'll be able to make the Hex Drinker a 4/4. This even beats Tabernacle. If they... No, they don't. Let's be fair. But yeah, it's nice to win Flawless. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Especially against the Delver player. Sideboarding is going to be interesting. Delver. Collector Ouphe, out. Knight of Autumn, out. There's some consensus to keep this in against Rug because of things like Sylvan Library. But I think these two are fine. I do like the extra paths, to be fair. I do like the chokes. I'm not sure if they're on Young Pyromancer or not. And that's a big reason why you would keep in Plague Engineer. I'm pretty happy to take out Cradle. I don't think this is a matchup where I'm going to be able to go wide. Probably second Sylvan Library. I can't be too aggressive with that. I'm going to take out a Gaea and maybe just run with this. There are some cards that I kind of want to play around with. I think that Vraska could be okay. Chalice could be okay, especially on the play. But I think this is fine. I think having so much removal for Delver is really nice. And then also just making sure we have removal for CMC 4 or higher cards like Gomag or something else. I don't mind this. Hey Julian, welcome. We do have the once to find another land, so I'm pretty happy to keep this. But just to play around days, I'm going to do this right away. Nice, okay. I could just go for basics early on, which I don't mind, since Windswept Heath can go and get a basic plains. So I'm going to do that. What is good? What is good? Coffee, Maverick, streaming on Sunday mornings. There's a few things I can definitely add to that. Alright, Delver's going to be fine. The splash today is black. This is pretty interesting. I think I just want to build up my mana so I can't be wastelanded early on. And because we have double swords, I'm not too fast with going for black mana straight away. Not going to play around days here. Because we have the second one as well, I'm not too afraid of it. Levianth, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Man, always nice to have you. Hope you're doing well. Hope the site's going well. I think you're up to the stage of just adding in old content onto the new site, which is cool. I think like was it a mid-August kind of launch? I remember the first time I was asked what's good, so confusing for us Australians. Yeah, pretty interesting. Okay. I think because, yeah, we have so many double ups that I'm happy just to play into things like Spell Snare or Daze here. Just keep trying to apply pressure and get it on field. From Seattle. Seattle has a pretty great, even from Australia, I know that Seattle has a great legacy scene, so I know Seattle's been doing it rough though, so I hope you're doing it okay. Green Suns, Green Suns, Green Suns. I think here I'm actually happy just building up my mana and maybe going for a bird. I don't want to lose my Noble Hierarch to a Plague Engineer, so I think I'm happy here going for bird. So I guess I did it pre-combat because I was going to go for Noble, but just because of things like Plague Engineer, I'm going to get a bird, so... Lightning Bolt this, and then maybe Daze the Green Suns? No, okay. That's interesting. They bolted the Thalia, so that makes me think that they don't have a Plague. So I think... Noble's a little bit better because it can be a little bit more aggressive, but Bird's nice because it gives me access to black mana in case I draw into like Abrupt Decay. I could also go for Hex Drinker. I think I do want to get a mana source just in case they untap and wasteland me. I do want to have that 3 mana next turn for choke, so I think Bird here is fine. Yeah. What you got? Brainstorm first. Okay. At least if they play a Dreadhorde, we can untap, play Thalia. They can't force or daze anymore, and then we can swords it straight away, which is pretty nice. My city has a 2-people legacy scene. Hey, it's got to start somewhere, which is nice. These are not main deck chokes. This is game 2. But unfortunately, when I started the stream, I talked about sideboarding, and I put the paths and the chokes in the main deck, and it didn't work out well. We started a league with both of them. Plague. Alright, we're just going to try to slam this choke. Opponent reading choke? Maybe they're dazing here. Brainstorm. Interesting. Is this a desperate brainstorm for a daze or a force? They have to have something here, or else they're tapped off all 3. Yeah, that's pretty good. I do enjoy the old Fonzie Abbott, which is a pretty nice coffee. Oof. Okay. That's a big oof. To be fair, Daze does allow my opponent to reuse some of these cards, but for now, I'm pretty happy just to start applying some pretty good amounts of pressure. I think it's just Thalia here, so my opponent can't do like a Ponder. And it also means if they Daze, it doesn't do much because it only gives them the 1 mana source. I wonder how many Underground Seas they play, and if we're pretty close to tapping them out. I think here I'm happy to draw a card. Maybe draw into like a Knight? Another sword, okay. Still have a black source for the Plague, which is nice. I'm going to cast the Plague because I want to increase my clock, but I'm not too sure what I want to name. I think it's Wizard, because I think that hits a Flip Delver, Young Pyromancer, and also Dreadhorde Arcanist. Delver of Secrets. second choke. I think because I want to increase my clock, and I don't think my opponent has a great way to remove the first one, I think the second one is kind of invalidated. But if I did think my opponent had something like a land and like Brazen Borrow in hand, there might be a reason why I cast the first one. But I think the Thalia just makes it so hard as well to get rid of the second. I think it is just going to be Wizard. And then I'm probably just going to get Dryad Arbor in my end step because it increases the clock. Yeah, no, very relevant question, of course, because Choke is just such a good card. But I think what I want to do is apply pressure so my opponent doesn't get, you know, an extra turn or two of actually drawing into some sort of out. Verdant. There's probably no reason here not to cast the second one. There's no creature that I really care about them casting. We do have 2 swords for a Gomag, which means Thalia protects it from Force Will the following turn anyway. So, happy to cast the second one. Yeah, the only other card that I can think of that sees marginal play is something like Engineered Explosives. But that's pretty hard to cast when you're already off 3 mana sources. But, you know, kudos to my opponent who's playing this out. Pretty tough to miss all your land drops after I've choked as well. To not even hit a single fetch land is pretty rough. I think Gomag's a start for my opponent. But unfortunately we do have the Path to Exile, which means it doesn't even add to their clock. Yeah. So I don't believe they're going to be on basics. So I think it's okay pathing here instead of swordsing. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it definitely looks like a 0 auto, unfortunately for them. Yeah. Okay. That's nice. Delver's always a nice deck to beat up on. But yeah, pretty unfortunate there. My opponent just didn't really have much going on. Even, like, no counter for the Thalia, no counter for the Choke. They had a removal spell for the bird. They didn't have I swords the first Delver, and they didn't even have, like, a Dazed. So pretty tough. But yeah, I think, when I cast the second Choke, there might have even been a reason not to, because it gives your opponent a spell to Daze, which allows them to return an island to their hand and then reuse it as a mana source. So maybe if I thought that 5 power on board was good enough of a clock, then there's no reason to cast anything else for the rest of the game. Because maybe that isn't out that my opponent has. Even something like return that land, play a fetch land pass, and then untap and play like Blazing Volley or something, which deals with 2 of my creatures. But yeah, a little bit lucky. That's what you need, especially when you're streaming. Yeah, we saw no black spells other than the Gomag. That's very correct. Not even like an Inquisition, a Fatal Push, maybe like Drown in the Lock. That's probably more a mid-range card than a Delver card, but yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't seen too much Grixis Delver. I'm sure there's players who just love playing Grixis Delver, but I think when you put it up against Rug, it's so hard to choose Grixis over Rug for a competitive match. Yeah, Drown's a very cool card. Drown is a design that I can definitely get behind. Not too overpowered, but just really cool in its flexibility to either fight on the stack or fight on the ground. Pretty good against Maverick, to be fair. Drown is good. Ah, Newton. Oh, no. Okay, so this is going to be Elves again. Which was pretty fun. You know, Elves a lot of the time. We played against Newton yesterday and it was a really fun matchup. Yeah, on the draw this is a little bit rough, but I don't mind it. I'd probably rather see a Source to Plowshares than an Abrupt Decay, but if I can use this once in Sylvan Library to find the main deck engineers, then we might be okay. Windswept. Oh, Gaea. That's interesting. So what do I want to do here? I think my best out is probably wanting for a Noble Hierarch or a bird. It just allows me to do so much more in turn 2. The question is, do I want to fetch first? I think I want to keep the fetch for now for the Sylvan Library. In case we get it down and see like 3 Thalias, I don't really want to pay 8 life against Elves just to keep them. I would rather have a way to shuffle them away. So I think it is just going to be once first, and then hopefully find Noble or Bird and go into Bayou. Oh, okay. That's kind of nice. I'm going to play the Bayou because the other cards I don't really want to draw into, so I'm happy to have them at the bottom of the deck. So now I kind of hope my opponent doesn't go off and doesn't play an elf. I would love to see a non-elf, like a Wirewood. Yeah, tricky part is living to turn 3. That's 100% correct. Thalia. Thalia is interesting. I think it's definitely a question of Abrupt Decay, but it's a question of what do I Abrupt Decay. I think the Quirion Ranger is pretty good. The Elvish Reclaimer, of course, pretty good with Wirewood as well. But yeah, I think Ranger here is the enabler for them to actually just win before I can get this Plague Engineer down. So although it doesn't feel great to be decaying a 1/1 elf that most likely the Plague Engineer is going to deal with, I think it's kind of our only out here. Or at least our best way to slow them down. Oh, the glimpse is always scary. Virtual is cool. Reclaimer, okay. They probably have a Cradle here. Yeah. 4 mana, 3 mana. Visionary. Oh, and then a once. Interesting. Okay, so they can still tap these for 1 mana. Wirewood. Hey, Luca Jack, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Yeah, there's no way I'm not just playing this Engineer here. They probably return an elf here with Wirewood. They definitely still have good outs though. Yeah, that's fair enough. It's the main deck Plague is not fun. You're from Hawaii, don't play much Legacy, but when I do some build of Arc like Phoenix, that's cool. I remember when it first came out, a lot of players were trying out versions with Buried Alive and like Lotus Petals, Dark Rituals. They were very cool. Yeah, the perfect... I feel like playing Engineer is me becoming the bad guy. And it's that question of, am I the bad guy? Another Cradle. Another Glimpse. Okay. It looks like they're just going for natural order here. If I can draw a Wasteland, that's pretty nice. Otherwise, Gaea taking out Wirewood is probably where I want to go. Yeah, I think it is going to be Gaea on Wirewood. I don't think we have the opportunity to like draw a card, Wasteland, play Noble, Wasteland them. Probably okay with holding back, because if they don't have a natural order here, which I assume they do, with 7 cards in hand, we can keep the Gaea alive. I don't think we main decked Gaddock either. I think it's still in the sideboard. Yeah, it is. Sadly, we can't take out the Dryad Arbor because it's a exile target non-land permanent. Yeah, unfortunately. This definitely feels like natural order because then they can sack this Dryad Arbor. Yeah, see what they get. Yeah. Yeah. Gaea should exile lands. What did we do last time? I think we took out Thalia's and Ouphe. Ramunap. Night of Autumn. Scooze is okay. I definitely want the parts. I think that giving them a land is more than fine. Especially when they go after basics quite heavily. Chalice. Vrask is interesting. Maybe it's Beast. I could go down on the land. Like, Karakas doesn't do a whole lot in this matchup. I think that's fine. Yeah, Library's interesting. Library does... I do like Library because it allows us to actually... Even just the Scry ability is quite nice to try to find our cards like Plague Engineer and Gaea. It's a case of, is there something here that's better than Library? It's tough as well because we can't be too aggressive with it because then even a small hoof can get us. It does seem quite slow. I think the reasoning for me is that if I'm bringing in enough removal to slow them down, then Library kind of becomes on par with how the matchup is gonna play out. But yeah, like maybe the I think on the draw, I'll definitely at least cut 1. But I think on the play, hopefully we can like... I think the best start is like turn 1 Noble, turn 2 removal spell and Library. See how it goes. Maybe even like a Thalia on the play isn't too bad. It's just because I'm bringing in so many non-creature spells that I don't want to have them all. Ah, sadly not. Okay. This is interesting. If the once finds a creature, then I'll be really happy. Like a noble or a bird. I think we just have to keep this based on that, and then see if we can. If we don't, we can hit a turn 2 library. But it really relies on this once. I'm not too sure what I want a Verdant for either, because if I get a Savannah, I can't cast these currently. If I get a Bayou, I can't cast like a Swords to Plowshares. So let's once first. Come on now, deck. Ah, okay. I see how it is. Elves is pretty tough. I think you can move the deck around a little bit to have some game, like Maindeck Engineer. Gaea does a bit of work, but it just goes wide so fast, which is pretty tough. I am going to fetch my upkeep. And I am going to get a Bayou. Wasteland. I kind of want to hide this for now. But yeah, this would have been so nice if we could start with a Gaea. Huh. Just the Y would pass. That's kind of scary. Put on top, pay for this? I think it's Wasteland Noble here. Yeah, I think it's Wasteland Noble, especially while Reclaimer is not up. So I'm going to pay for this. Play Noble. Oh, Reclaimer is up here, yeah. Of course, because this taps for 2 mana. So at least it means next turn we can go Wasteland and a 3-drop, which is really nice. Okay. Put on top. So we do have 2 answers here, but we do lose to Dryad Arbor into natural order. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think I still have to Wasteland this turn. But I do get to get rid of one of these. I don't think I'm paying for this. I think I'm paying for this sword. Progenitus beats us big time. So we're definitely Wastelanding. They play Progenitors. I know he plays it in his board. Yeah. So, okay, so if they go Intercept Dryad Arbor, they have 1, 2, 3 mana. If they have a land, that's 4 mana into natural order. So I kind of have to deal with the Cradle here. But I think if I play the Gaea, they won't use the Elvish Reclaimer in upkeep. So there's no point doing this in upkeep. Yeah. Gaea takes care of Wywood. I can't hit the Reclaimer because they can return it in response. Maybe I see how they... No. I was going to see... I could wait to see how they actually fetch here with Windswept Heath. But I'd rather just Wasteland though. The Cradle here. And just keep them off it. Second Glimpse, wow. They have a third Cradle? Bayou into Birchlaw? Quirion. Interesting. Oh, another Gaea. Okay. Put on top, pay for this. Yeah, library stack, so you can fetch in between them. Yeah, 2 separate triggers. I think Plague here is fine. Huh. We're definitely naming Elf. And then Swordsing Dryad Arbor. I don't mind once in upkeep to just see a fresh 3 instead of seeing that Sylvan Library again. If I can find a Wasteland, that'd be really nice. Windswept, okay. Sylvan Frasca. Put on top. Don't really want that right now. I guess this Green Suns is a way for me to start attacking. I could attack with Plague there, but I just want to keep it back in case of something big. Once. Okay. Cabal Pit. Interesting. That is very cool. That is very cool tech. I didn't see it. Oh, Unlikely Cabal Pit. My bad. Yeah, that's very cool tech. Oh, is this just natural order? Yeah, I tried. I tried so hard. Alright. Probably shouldn't have fetched there because the Gaea gains me 2 life, which is relevant. So I want to get Questing Beast, but now I need something else as well, like a Scooze. Okay, that is close. Put on top, put on top. Exile, Crane Ranger, and Windswept Heath. Go up to 10. Three, 4, 5. I mean, we can see if they block here. I don't think they will, unfortunately. Because if they block, then Progenitus does die, because damage can't be prevented. I don't want to lose the Plague Engineer. I think I want to Swords it. Play this. Pass. Oh yeah, I could attack for 6. That's very correct. Yeah. No, because they have a protection. It has protection from everything. Ah, of course. Yeah, because the Questing Beast. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah. I've played Questing Beast so many times, but it always gets me. Yeah, I forgot about Engineer being 2 points. Being Death Touch as well. Alright. Go to 1. Teague. Scooze? No. Yeah, rip. Cool games, but just couldn't keep them off the natural order. And there we go. Tough. I have thought about cards like Containment Priest, but I think the Gadok Tea kind of does the same thing, which is pretty nice because it also turns off Green Suns and Natural Order. It just doesn't turn off Dryad Arbor getting fetched. But that's fine. Cool games. Oh, we are 1-1. not 2-0. But yeah, would have been an interesting game if we got that turn 1 Mana Accelerant to then have a turn 2 Engineer or Kaya. That would have been pretty sweet. This end is okay. I do like the interaction of Wasteland and Swords. Once could be anything, and Collector Ouphe could be dead in this matchup, whatever it is, but I'm going to keep this. Ponder's okay. Do they shuffle? If they shuffle, I'm pretty happy to Wasteland here. Choose not to shuffle. Okay. Birds. Thalia would be sweet off this once. Probably the card that I want right now, especially against the blue deck. I'll take the Noble, and then I'll cast that, because they know about it. Haha, I do have a QB emote that looks just like that one. Haha, very cool. EW Banks, thanks for the follow. And Tom Unlucky, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you guys are from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Is it Oko? Jack, is the emote Oko? Thalia, yeah. Oh, they're very cool. I like the Goblin ones. I like, yeah, I know Goblin Lucky has some pretty sweet ones. I think I have some Oko ones from Anzi. No, I don't. But I have some Legacy Pit hype. Yeah, that's a cool one, Lucky. I like that. I like how your dad helped you with your first emote. Is that right? Badlands. Huh. Triumph. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to keep him off blue and double black. Play Hierarch. Yeah, this looks like Grixis, which is going to be interesting. Collector Ouphe is a little bit dead here. Veil of Summer intensifies. Brainstorm. Interesting. Land Brainstorm. I guess it's their only blue card. Maybe they're just trying to dig for a removal spell for this Noble Hierarch. But seeing we have another bird, I'm not too unhappy about that. This deck could be playing something like Liliana of like the Last Hope, which would be really rough against this start of mine. So I do want to draw into something like probably another Reliquary, especially seeing it'll be a 4/4, so out of bolt range. But they do have a fair ton of removal, so this could be damaging. All right. You talk about it and it just happens sometimes. That's pretty nice. I'm gonna get Savannah and just play Knight. Yeah, it was so interesting when like Narset and speaking of Narset, when Narset and Khan were like all the hype. It wasn't that long ago. That's the most crazy thing, that there's all this big talk about 4-mana Khan and Narset, and which are still fine cards, but there's just been so many like solid printings since then. This could be Gurmag here. Yep. Okay. Luckily we have the sword. Bayou. Okay. Let's sword first. land. And probably just keep up once here. I do want to find a threat. I don't really want to play the bird. I guess I could have played the bird and not attacked. Maybe actually playing the bird was better than... Yeah, I think playing the bird here was better than actually attacking. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. Jace is pretty good. What if they Fate Seal us? They're going to Brainstorm. Interesting. Does that make me want to do something in response? Maybe. I guess if we can find a Questing Beast off this once. Okay, Knight's still pretty good. Knight will get bounced, but I think that's okay. Yeah, because we can still attack for 1 into the Jace. I think the only reason that I like Knight is that it does make the Jace have to tick down, which I don't think the Thalia does. Scrub. Interesting that they're not playing Snow Basics. Not even trying to show that they're playing like maybe Dead of Winter. Because that would be kind of scary if they were playing Snow Basics. Yeah, Ouphe would be pretty good as well. I guess because I wanted to pressure the Jace. Which means if they want to bounce the Knight, then the Noble Hierarch does get them. Or at least they have to spend a removal spell on the Noble Hierarch, which isn't the worst, seeing we've already got enough mana. Yeah, that's very true. I think I might have just missed that. I think I just had tunnel vision of Noble hitting the Jace, so I didn't really take it into consideration that I had the spare mana for Knight and Collector Ouphe. But hopefully this works out. Three cards for my opponent. Okay. Oof. Okay, well the Jace still dies here unless they have Bolt. I can even attack in the air if I want. I'd probably rather attack with the Noble Hierarch here, because if they have Plague Engineer, I'd rather them bolt the Noble and then name Bird with Plague instead of bolt the Bird and then name Human on Noble. But now it's a case of maybe I like the Noble around because Windswept Heath can go and get Dryad Arbor, which then with Exalted actually kills the Jace. Unless they, Fate Seal. Strix is pretty good. Double Strix is even better. I guess Questing Beast is really our only out here, let's be honest. Alright. Come on, Green Suns. Oh, okay. Close. Strass Daddy, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah, I think the Ouphe play is definitely hurting me here. Not playing the Knight and the Ouphe. Because I think losing the Bolt I'd be more than happy. At least, yeah, then I have the 2. I guess it's tough because then I'm still just attacking with 1 creature with Exalted at the Jace. I kind of feel like a Snap Bolt here is looming. Oh, Drown the Lock, okay. Probably just playing this Knight out as a 4/3. Which kind of sucks because it's so bad against all their removal, but I think that's better than gaining 4 life. It just means like a Snapcaster can't block and kill it, which a Snap can bolt it anyway or like drown it, but I think we're okay. But yeah, Grixis is cool to see. Obviously my opponent is 0-4, which is tough, but it's cool to see people still trying out the deck. Knight of Autumn pretty sweet right now. I do like it over Qasali Primage, especially with the downtick in decks with Umezawa's Jide. You don't really need the instant speed interaction as much. Again here, happy just attack with both. So here's an interesting one. I wonder what they do with the Snapcaster. Because I think just here I have to Swords it before blocks, because either one of these kills the Jace, and they can only bolt 1. So they have to have another removal spell in hand now. Come on now. Come on. No! No! Rough. So close. So close. Fate Seal. Yeah, change is pretty sweet. In fact, yeah, that's fair enough. Oh, there's Triumph, yeah. I guess Questing Beast off the top is still relevant. They're gonna get back a creature. Okay. Interesting. This means that an exalted creature off the top does kill them. What'd they do? Did they put a card on top? Oh, they put a card on top. Yeah, okay. We'll play it out. We do currently have 5 minutes on them, so I do want to see more of the deck and see what's in it. If I join in with lands, I can just keep them as well for Jace ulti. It does look pretty straightforward, the list. They don't really, but just in case, there's no reason to concede here. Yeah, it's 2011 here, actually. blue, green. Okay, they are playing Plague. Put this up here. I mean, Questing Beast would still be a nice out. Once. Okay. Drown. Okay. I'm happy to play it out. I think time is also a consideration, where I have nearly 5 minutes for my opponent. I want to play the fetch land because if they Jace Fate Seal me to the top, I do want to shuffle off that. They Brainstorm with Jace. Interesting. Why is the deck called Maverick? I believe it's because of the first player who came up with it. Their MTGO name was Maverick with an @ sign as the A. There's some other small reasons, like people think that Maverick, the definition of Maverick is like kind of like out there or like left field. So it wasn't a deck at the time that was kind of seen as like a mainstream deck. Library. Okay. I wonder if they have Colligan's Command. Okay. The deck was created by Logan Paul. Yeah, I guess Logan Paul's name is... franchise name is Maverick? Or at least it was. I think he's rebranded. But I hate that I know that. Brainstorm again. Looking at sideboard, I think we'll just bring in the Chokes and the Vraska. Yeah. Chokes and Vraska is 3. And I probably don't mind going down on some number of creatures. Oh, some number of Swords to Plowshares. Is there a more Reddit shard than Grixis? I don't believe so. But yeah, if you want to learn more about the Maverick history and where the name came from, you can check it out on the history page of the Green Sun Zenith. Alright. I could see a shaving as well on Mana Dorks. So I do like the Chokes. I do like the Vraska. Ouphe can come out. I can probably drop down on a Noble and maybe a Thalia. Thalia is pretty good on the draw though. It could be Cradle. I think Cradle is the card that gets punished here. I don't think this is a matchup where I can go wide and where Cradle's can be really effective. So I don't mind this. Swords is also probably a card I can go down on. Yeah, Swords are really there for Gomag, so maybe I can go down to 2 Swords. And maybe that actually means I can bring in Chalice. They do have K commands and a few other ways to deal with Chalice, but I think it's going to put a bit of disruption on them. A lot more than it would on us, especially seeing how we board. So I don't mind this. Is there really anything else? I don't think I want the ley lines. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, I think Dorks are... I could trim one more Noble Hierarch to have 1 Noble, 1 Bird. But... Interesting hand. Doesn't have any acceleration, and it's a very fair hand to begin with. Ranger doesn't do a whole lot because I'm not really scared of opposing Wastelands. Yeah, I think I want to mulligan this. This is a lot, but I'll keep this. And I think I'll just bottom the... probably the Savannah. Actually, it might be the Forest, because I can find either by Windswept Heath. Yeah. I want the Plow just in case they have like an early Gomag start. And I only have one more in the deck. At least the Forest I can fetch out. Bolt. Gaea. Gaea is pretty cool. What do I want to do? Scrubland, double white. Yeah. I like getting Scrubland here because it means I can cast the Gaea off a Wasteland off the top. Not with the Thalia out, but at least it sets up myself if they remove the Thalia. Punt is fine. Sure. Okay. I think Gaea, if it resolves, is ticking up on the 2 lightning bolts. Ooh, choke. Ooh, I think that's just better. I could have force checked the Gaea, but I think it's just too good not to cast the choke. Him's pretty good. If they play Gomag here, that's pretty solid because it got rid of my my one piece that I could deal with it. Oh, Strix, okay. That's fine. Let's go for Bolt and Bolt. Jace is pretty good. Okay. Bold Gaea. Yeah, they had it. Ooh, Ramunap. Interesting. Definitely a really grindy game. Definitely a matchup where I kind of wish I was playing Veil of Summer, which is pretty sweet against the Himja Turax and the Lilianas in a way. But I always found with Maverick, I never had the chance to hold up Veil. I was always casting on curve that I didn't have the extra mana to float. 2 for 6 mana. Last Hope. That's pretty good. Yeah, Veil would be sweet. If Grixis was seeing more showing, then I think I'd definitely reevaluate how good it is. But again, just the Jace Lily lock is pretty rough. Once. Yeah, there's no real good targets here, unfortunately. Sadly, I think this is game, but we'll see what happens. Just gonna get enough pressure on board to kind of own the early to mid game, and the force was the him was huge huge hit. Library. Okay, interesting. Gonna keep going for that black mana. Yeah, definitely ask for a concession, but I wouldn't, it's definitely not obligated. Drown's pretty good. And to be fair, my opponent might even not have chat up. Digging for something. Maybe a removal spell for the Ramunap? Could bounce it, I guess. If they find, they've already used their Brainstorm, but if they had hand disruption still in the deck, they could bounce the Ramunap and then make me discard it. Just to stop the Wastelands going. Yeah, it's their choice. Ah, 1 mana off. Yeah. I think we'll just concede there if my opponent has not seen this. Yeah. Rough. Just couldn't really string anything together. But that's definitely what Grixis does with the amount of removal they have, which is pretty tough. In general, it's usually a pretty interesting matchup. Fatal Push is a big one because once you have another Reliquary out of a sort of bolt range, you still do have to think of Drown in the Lock, Fatal Push, sometimes some other things like even like a Jace Bounce can be relevant. And then you have blockers like Baleful Strix and Plague Engineer that you have to be wary of, which is pretty tough. But yeah, definitely not unhappy that I don't have to play too much Grixis. Alright, maybe we can squeeze back to a 3-2. That would be pretty cool. Zol. I'm gonna mulligan this. I don't like keeping one-landers, especially just with a forest. This is fine. I'll keep this in bottom the Collector Ouphe. It's probably the bullet that might just be irrelevant. I probably want to once here in case I do hit a mana dork. No. Get the Wasteland. Aye, okay. Looks like Eldrazi Endless one, perhaps? Yeah, for 2. Okay. Another one. Okay. Oh, do not 6 this turn. Thank you. I think here I just have to Wasteland. Oh, wait. Oh, did we 6 our turn? Oh my gosh. Rough. Yeah. I don't think we're beating this. I'd probably rather just concede and hope that our opponent doesn't think we're a Maverick and think we're on some sort of depth deck. That's rough, yeah. Punished. At least I know what to take out. Thalias can definitely come out. Swords are fine. Skews is fine. Path is fine. Vrask is fine. Probably just a Gaea, to be fair. One Gaea is okay because it can deal with Chalice and Endless one. This looks fine. Ah, interesting. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, again, not the greatest hand, but I don't mind it because we can green sun straight away for Dryad Arbor, but then we just have 2 green. I'm gonna see how this goes. Really want to fetch land off this. They get a once in response. Okay. Oh, thanks, Matt. I'll have to use the one a lot more. Nice. I could have gone Forest into Dryad and kept the Windswept Heath around for Scrubland because that gives me all my colors, which I probably should have done, and I was thinking of that as just as I was doing it, but I think this is okay. I don't think this is a game where we're going to get cut off, thankfully. I guess we'll see. This Dismember? Wow, okay. Oh, don't do it again. Don't do it again. Oh my gosh. This is... Yeah, Maverick is unplayable, clearly. Rough. Is this Thought-Knot Seer? Definitely feels like it. Oh, Chalice is fine. But we would have had the Decay for it. Like, just so many things have gone wrong here. Okay. I'm okay with this because the Plague Engineer answers the Mimic and also blocks the Endless one. I'm just going to decay this now. And then 6. Rough. Need to buy an S to remove all yields. Okay, interesting. Questing Beast. Eldrazi. If they attack, I'm just going to take it. Especially if we draw into a land, this Questing Beast is going to be so good against a lot of their 4/4 creatures that are now 3/3s. Another Chalice. Okay, that's fine. Swords. So I guess the only thing we can do here is once. Ugh. It's probably just night. Even though we don't have white mana, I can't do anything else. And I can't really attack in case of Reality Smasher. Yeah, at least I'm not drawing those, that's fair. But yeah, missing that full turn was huge. This is interesting. I probably don't mind trading with a land here. If they have a land in hand, that's fine. Two Mimics is pretty good, I guess. Yikes. Yeah. Just not working out. I guess we just lose here to one creature. I mean, going down to one, we're just dead anyway, so that's rough. Those auto yields are tough. Not great. 2-0 into 0-2, 0-2, 0-2. Just magic sometimes. Yeah. Ha! Yeah, not playing another league. Definitely making the most of my Sunday afternoon to do nothing. But yeah, tough. I guess Grixis, we just couldn't get anything together. I think Eldrazi is definitely a great matchup for Maverick. Just couldn't, yeah, cobble anything together. Which is pretty tough. You play disc golf? Nice. I've played Ultimate for a few years. Good sport. Good to get out. And, yeah, it's definitely a lot more competitive than I thought it would be. Which is very cool. Big fan of that. But yeah, just even a fourth land there would have been nice because we could play the Questing Beast, which keeps a few of their creatures at bay. But maybe it wasn't correct to trade with the Mishra's Factory there. This hand is fine. A lot of interaction. Sylvan Library is pretty good. Verdant. I guess I could have gone Windswept Heath here to play get a basic plains. Getting Badlands is interesting. Drop. Huh. Wishclaw. Ugh, okay. That's pretty scary. Thalia is a pretty nice draw. Maybe this knight can steal the Wishclaw, but I don't see it coming. Yeah, luckily he had the top deck, but definitely no skill there. Taiga. Interesting. I know people have been trying out like the Song of Creation list. I'm not sure if the Taiga represents that. Oh, well I did not know that. I definitely haven't seen it, which is interesting. What caused the Taiga to come in? Yeah, I wouldn't call it a staple at all. I definitely haven't seen it. Okay. Taker's always in Tess? Really? Interesting. I think I just want to blow up the LED, to be fair. Oh, I can also go Collector Ouphe. That's probably better. I think Collector Ouphe is better here. I think the one thing that gets me here is like a grape shot. But this seems better than just playing the knight and hitting the lion's eye. This could just be Massacre. A grape shot. Okay. They got grape shot. So I probably want to hit probably the Badlands, because they could like ritual. I guess they can't ritual into it. I guess they can ritual into it. I think the play is Wasteland on Badlands, and then play Knight, and probably just take out one of these. Most likely the LED. Hey Styfro, welcome. Deeding away 6 humans. Haha. Yeah, I played Pernicious Deed for a little bit in Maverick. I really enjoyed it. Especially during the Urion era. But definitely going after the black mana. And I think here we're just going to go after the Wishclaw. It's probably the Wishclaw that I'm scared about more. To be fair, Abrupt Decay is also in the deck, and if they're going to be gut-shotting next turn, then they're definitely not Wish-clawing in the same turn. So I think just hitting the LED here is fine, because we do have more outs to the Wish-claw the following turn. I guess they can like maybe Rider Flame into Grape Shot, or Rider Flame into Grape Shot. Yeah, that's rough. Once. Is Scooz worth it here? I guess I can't. It's probably just Windswept can get Dryad Arbor, so I do want to play Windswept for turn, and then it's probably playing Sylvan Library just to try to dig for another Thalia if we do get another turn. I'm gonna hold up the swords as well if we need it. Yeah, we can still once in our end step anyway. Yeah, I guess I could have found Thalia as well. That's very true. Maybe one thing was correct. Even once, and then if we don't find anything, we can still play Sylvan Library. That's probably, yeah, more realistic than winning the game because we get Dryad Arbor here. Yeah, I think once first, and then if we don't hit into Library is probably the better play. That's just scrappy from me. Yeah, it looks like they weren't playing this for Storm. They were playing this to get an extra blue source for Ponder. So it doesn't... They're definitely looking for the win, but it doesn't look like they have the win. One, two, three, four. What did they do with the Ponder? They chose not to shuffle with the Ponder. Oh, are they going to tendrils us here? No. Nice. We do have a lot to do, to be fair, but... I guess maybe that means... I should go for Windswept. Yeah, it's interesting. Couldn't they have gone for Infernal Tutor? I guess they went for Tendrils out of the board. Okay. Alright. They don't play Tutor. Okay, yeah. I'm getting the two mixed. Oh, okay. Probably just Questing Beast here. Just try to race. Put on top, put on top. Gaea. It's probably worth me going above one life here than going after their graveyard. Maybe not. Maybe I can just take out Tendrils and Grapeshot. And then I like keeping up once. Yeah, wasting them as well seems really good. At least we got the swords out of the way. Put on top. Do I use the ones to find the knight? That's probably better. I'm gonna exile Thalia and Swords to gain 2 life. We've already taken 1 Tendrils out of the deck, so I'm not sure if they have another. We've exiled Grapeshot and Tendrils. Oh, they could wish for it? Okay. At least they're pretty far off it. They don't have a black source either. Maybe they could like Ritual. Okay. Nice. Definitely stole that one. Swords I'm happy to take out. Chalice is good. Deafening Silence is good. Ley lines are interesting. If they're playing the Echo version, I think they're worth it. Teague is definitely worth it. Ramunap can come out. Decays can most likely come out. I don't mind the Plagues because they answer empty if they're playing empty. I don't mind taking out Cradle. So maybe Ley lines are just better than any other piece of interaction that we have. Yeah, the Ley lines are mainly for like Rider Flames is what we saw, but I don't think it's worth it. Maybe Chokes. I don't mind a choke on the draw. Yeah, I always feel that if we get into the stage where we can rebuy Wastelands with Ramunap, we're going to be winning that game anyway. I think that's a little bit of a win more strategy, at least for how I've played against them. Maybe, okay, maybe we'll just go like this. I don't mind this. And then we can see if they're playing Echo or not. Hands okay, but very fair against this. I'm happy to mulligan into some sort of turn 1 hate. Kind of the same hand. We do have Thalia, but on the draw that's probably not enough. I think there's probably a better 5 than this that involves Deafening Silence or Chalice. Okay, this is actually really nice. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to bottom Dryad Arbor and Hex Drinker. Just need to draw that white source. Yeah, I guess Dryad Arbor was my green source. I just didn't realize until I put it to the bottom. It's fine. It's fine. This is all fine. It looks like it's going to be a... No, not a turn 1. Okay. They played out Mox Opal, which is interesting. It kind of makes me want to play out the Chalice, just for 0, so I have something on the board this turn. Because if we draw to a green source, then my play is just turn 2 Knight, turn 3... Sorry, turn 2 Teague, turn 3 Knight. I should have also played the Karakas. I guess it doesn't matter with Gadok Teague, but if I am playing around Massacre, which I'm not sure if it's in the 75, I should definitely try to play Karakas out and just have that as my only white source for the rest of the game. But with Teague on board, it doesn't really matter. This feels like a chain. Brainstorm, okay. Yeah, I think Chalice for 0 is nice because it buys me time, and that's exactly what I want if I have a lot of 2 and 3 drop disruption. Thought he's most likely taking Teague. I think the best draw is just Thalia, because it's a 2-drop that we can play and it's also disruptive. Maybe Deafening Silence, but I think Thalia is just the best here, because it allows us to start pressuring our opponent as well. Okay. This isn't looking too bad, because if we draw into a green source here, we could have green sunned for Collector Ouphe. Rough. So yeah, bottoming that Dryad Arbor. I just didn't even think it lines up so well, because Dryad Arbor you don't care about it being summoning sick when you're playing a Chalice for 0 on turn 1. So I should definitely have gone for dropping the Plains. Going for empty. Interesting. Rough. Yeah, that's a big oof. Karakas Muxus in response to Lucky Trigger, put it back into play. Yeah, that's a nice one. I do like that. Rough. There's definitely no reason to keep both the Karakas and Plains. I've once used Haven of the Spirit Dragon on an Ugin that died to ultimate. That's pretty cool. I like that. Is this just like a small empty? We do have the Plagues, which is nice. We do need to draw them. That's interesting. That gives us our Plague Engineer. Okay, 3-turn clock. Okay. Alright. So we can play a knight, and then next turn we can go and get... Yeah, so I think the play is knight here, because it's a 2-2, so it at least blocks a goblin. And then we can just go and get Plague Engineer the following turn off the Wishclaw and use the knight for a mana. Yeah, I think knight's better because it just saves us a life. They chaining the... Oh, wow. Alright. I guess we have one turn to draw a mana source. Can even be a Wasteland. Yeah! Okay. I guess we can play the knight again. Go down to 1, but then we just lose to Tendrils. Yeah, this is tough. I know they have a Tendrils in hand, which is the scary part. They have Grape Shot, Burning Wish. Yeah. Okay, so we can still draw a land. Ah, it's a Wasteland. It's a Windswept. Rough. I was going to say we could still fetch up and then hit the Volk. Yeah, we can't even Green Suns for Scryb Ranger. 3 mana. Untap Knight. So we have to Wasteland and play... Green Suns for Scryb Ranger. Tap the Knight. Plains. Okay. I mean, we'll try this line. I know that going for one or the other doesn't do it, but maybe Scryb Ranger can help here. Because we can sack the Plains, get a Wasteland, and then we can return, untap Knight, return the Bayou. We can then play the Bayou. Yeah, we're still one short. Because Grape Shot is instant. Oh, it's a sorcery. No, but we lose the Bayou anyway to the Knight, so I can't untap it in their upkeep. Because I can float a black here, go and get Cradle, which is only 3 mana. I then can't play questing. Can't get a. I don't have the extra one because Plague Engineer is 4 mana here. Unfortunately. Yeah. Rough. Just that Dryad Arbor line was crucial. I'm just gonna run this back. There's no changes that I want to make. I just want to have a good opening. Tough. Cradle's bought it out anyway. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I knew they had a gut shot in hand though. So they had the 1 damage in hand, so I had to Wasteland and Plague, unfortunately. Rough. Rough. Yeah, it's pretty powerful, but I think it's just better cards in the deck. I could drop maybe like a forest for it. Yeah, I don't mind that. I guess it does keep it up. It is nice to have it in the deck, I guess. And there's no... Then it really punishes us for going wide outside of Grape Shot. I'll keep this. Savannah Deafening Silence. I want to play Deafening Silence first just to make sure they can't Thoughtseize it. Yeah, it's when we're done the spot. Turn 1 wins definitely aren't too far away. But if this is something like Chain here, then it's pretty rough. Oh, okay. It's just the fetch. Grape Shot. Ramunap. Scryb Ranger. Untap return. Play this. I can Green Suns here if I really want to. And I think I do. I think I want to go for another creature. Just to get my mana going. Instead of keeping it for Ouphe. Because Grape Shot taking care of the Noble Hierarch really puts me in a pretty tough spot. I do want to Once Upon a Time because if I don't hit a mana source, I guess if I don't hit a creature, it's pretty tough. Maybe it is better. So the Green Suns gets me a bird. Yeah, okay. Maybe it's worth it because all I really need is a land. Yeah, that's fair. I think I just want the Savannah here. I do have 2 land drops because of the Scryb Ranger, but I think I don't want to get bottlenecked in on land. And Green Suns here is pretty much our Thalia being Collector Ouphe, so I think the Savannah is just a little bit better. Ponder, interesting. Ah, Teague. Huh. Is Teague better than Collector Ouphe? Ouphe definitely punishes them more on board because of the LED. We know about Grape Shot. I think I'm okay just going for Collector Ouphe. Yeah, we know about Grape Shot, so maybe it's worth baiting the Grape Shot on Collector Ouphe and then playing Teague. If we can find it again. Brainstorm's okay. Yeah, that's very true. I guess next turn we get to play the Questing Beast and start attacking for 7 a turn, which is pretty good. Yeah, Ooze is also a line, which is nice. I guess because of the Deafening Silence and Ouphe, I'm not too scared of things in the graveyard. Because most of the things that I want to eat are Rider Flame, but of course if you're only casting 1 Rider Flame a turn, it's a lot worse than being able to string multiple together. Silence is just one of the best printings for white decks, especially fair white decks in a long time. Wishclaw is fine. Knight. I think I just like beating down here with Questing Beast. There's probably no reason to play this. I could also go Knight and Scooze, which might set me up for a win the following turn. Attack for 3, 13, and then the following turn, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Pretty close. Yeah, I think Knight and Scooze is what I want to do. And there's no point not attacking with both. Even though there's Exalted, if they remove one of these, then at least I get some amount of damage in. I can only assume at this stage of the game they have some sort of... No, nothing. Wow. I thought they would have had a bounce spell for the Ouphe. Nice. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 4. Yeah. Pretty interesting because I attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, just lethal. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. But what I could have done if they were a little bit above, I could have untapped the Knight before damage with Scryb Ranger and sacked a land. And then maybe even wastelanded myself or wastelanded them to get some extra lands in the graveyard. But luckily we get there. Pretty tough. I mean, I think the matches that we went down to were just a little bit of a 50-50. The Grixis control deck, we just couldn't put 2 and 2 together. And the Eldrazi deck, we had a few F6s that we shouldn't have X6s, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I think a 2-3 is pretty meh, but I think the games were a lot closer than just the 0-2s that they were. Once Upon a Time was sweet. So I've been playing Once Upon a Time in this list for a little while, and I've been really enjoying it. I think the ability to pick up 5 is really nice, especially if I am going to try to find something like Plangigeneer or Kaya. I think there's no real changes to consistency in, you know, not playing the 4th Thalia, 4th Noble, 4th Green Sun, and extra land. I think that the onces are pretty great. And I think that's a pretty nice spot to be in, where you can add in the 4 onces for land, Noble, Thalia, and Green Suns. You could also take out a library if you wanted. I just really like the 2-2-2 split of these cards, just because of the amount of time you actually get to see them in each game, instead of just having one-offs everywhere. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, you just have more ways to find more cards, which is awesome. And a lot of the times, you know, once does work out for you. You do find things like Plangigeneer with your once, which is really nice. Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan as well of just not playing one-offs unless you can search for them. So other than Vraska, I do like Achilles' Board here as well, where you have like 2 Chalice, 2 Deafening Silence, 2 Choke, 3 Paths, because they're just cards you want to see a lot more against a lot of the decks. Yeah, but to be fair, Stifro, you play a lot of blue, so you do play your Ponders and Brainstorms to be able to find them a lot better than us measly green players with Green Suns and Onces, and I guess Sylvan Library. But yeah, I really like this list. I'm always a big fan of the Black Splash because I think the removal is just so good right now, especially against a lot of the Delver decks. Having access to Decay and Plangigeneer is pretty nice. But yeah, that is me. I've got to go. A huge thank you to you guys for coming in. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at my Twitter here. If you want to find all my videos, you can find them at YouTube. A huge thank you to you guys for coming in. This is really cool. I'm going to quickly see who else is playing. Ah, the Legacy Pit. Okay, well that's a pretty easy one. Nice. A huge thank you once again. Enjoy your weekends. I will see you on Thursday night, probably with this again, but I was kind of keen to play a Red Splash. So Strass Daddy, I might come on to you and see what you're playing right now, and if I can maybe borrow a deck, that'd be very cool. Simpson, thanks for the follow. Hopefully see you next time, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Thank you very much. All the best.